And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me, I have my good friend Josh here. He's the actor, director, writer for his new short film called I Just Care. And also, too, I have Nathaniel Mesy with me as well. He's also part of this film as well. So I'm actually excited to be able to have him with me and talking about Josh's movie. I'm excited to have the both of them here. So without further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's get on with the show. I'm excited to have both of them here. And hey guys, what's going on?
Hello.
It's good.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Glad to have both of you here. And
It's a wonderful day.
yes, it is. Very beautiful day. But guys, I just want to say this. Congratulations on getting this far as putting out your own movie. There's nothing more thrilling to see your art being put on the big screen and actually being produced and directed and having all this hard work and these blood, sweat, and tears now done. Now you get to go on ahead and go to film festivals and things like that. I'm just thrilled for you guys. I'm one of your biggest cheerleaders when it comes down to y'all's creativity. My thing is this. Josh, tell everyone about what your film is about.
Oh man, so I Just Care is about a guy. His name is Lee, and Lee has this relationship with this girl. He has these strong feelings for her, and then eventually, at some point, she just kind of fades out of the picture. He just stops hearing from her altogether. So Lee's a bit down about it, and he tries to reach out to her just to see how she's doing, but eventually he runs into some people that, really one person and then a couple other people, misfit characters, really. And they all try to give him some advice, but it's like told from three different perspectives, and it's all poor advice. And then eventually he sees her again. That's the name of, the girl. Could just call her, and it was trying to do like a more, I guess, poetic thing with it. And the conversation that they have, or the discovery that he makes as to why she's back or why he hasn't heard from her, is eventually at that point then revealed. And afterwards, it's just him trying to kind of cope with things, essentially. Yeah.
The thing that I find really fascinating, though, is your pitch and the way you're doing the promos right now. Is like, what does I just care mean to you?
Yeah.
I just care can mean just different things. It can be relationships with your father. It could be relationships with your girlfriend, wife, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I thought that was totally unique about your whole entire promos, was the fact that it was totally different than what you're pitching the audience as far as what the plot line is. And I like how the layers are for this. It could be about just about anything you want it to be. Whatever you're going through, maybe you're going through some hardships. You're going through something. So I definitely like that idea.
No, for sure. That was something that me and Nate, we had discussed. And, we kind of me and Nate have been on the same page from the very, very beginning. It's like once we were locked in, we were locked in. I'm gonna let Nate. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go ahead, bro.
Most definitely. I think bringing the question itself, what does I just care mean to us? It's cool to see it from different perspectives, especially the cast members. Seeing them talk about, and it's crazy because it's crazy because they have a different perspective. But me and Josh, the way I've dealt with this with Josh is kind of deeper into it, because it's like me and him really talked about this, and we always talked about how this is based on a true story, and since this is based on a true story, it gives us so much more meaning to it. It makes us it fuels us to continue filming, because it's we want to produce stories, we want to tell stories, we want to create something where everybody can watch and just have a great time, and that's the goal that we are trying to do. And so what does I just care mean? Is this something special, and it has a special place in our hearts, and
Right.
It has so much meaning to it. So yeah.
And that's
For
like I
sure.
said, I think it's very unique with. Go on ahead, Josh.
No, I was just gonna say for sure. I was just gonna piggyback over what Nate was saying because it definitely was inspired by a true like a genuine situation. And I was telling Nate about it at first. So, and you could see through as I was telling him this whole thing, like this progression with this girl. It seemed like it was going great. And Nate's like, all right, I was kind of telling him to drop little gems every day, just kind of let him know what was going on and how, things was going. And then one day, the day came and it was like I was not myself. Like usually it's 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm waking up cracking jokes automatically out of bed, like instantaneously, and it's like we all in this apartment, here I go, 8 a.m., wake up, just cracking jokes as usual. And then all of a sudden, the jokes aren't there. And, I'm not interacting with anybody. I'm not speaking. I'm not saying any words to anyone. And then, I tell them what happened and what went down. And eventually, once I was, ready to kind of talk about it, and like I was saying earlier on in in the full bonus features, you see how I started out making it wanting it to be a poem, and then it wasn't a poem. Then I wanted it to be a song. I was like, no. And then I was like, let's make a monologue. So I said, Nate, let's shoot it because I'm going to do photography. Let's talk about it. So I started kind of pitching this idea, which then eventually it evolved into a short film because I just couldn't stop writing. So I said, let me just keep going with this and see. And then once I finished it, I sent the script to Nate. Nate loved it. I sent it to you, John. You read it. You said you really loved it. So I was like, all right, fine. I sent it to Mike. Mike plays King. And Reek, who's one of our producers and creative consultants, he also took a look at it because he was originally supposed to play King, but then he graduated. And so once everybody was pretty much saying like how much they really enjoyed it. I said, okay. So now let's go ahead and shoot this thing.
Right, because now it's like, okay, well, I got something here. People are loving the script. They're digging what I'm writing.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So let me go ahead and put this out and see what happens.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And I definitely like how you sent it off to me. And the thing that I noticed was the relatability of it and the dialogue of it. And how it opened you. Here's the thing. I know it's about you and the things that you went through. Mm-hmm. But that's the beauty of the thing that you wrote was the fact that of how real it is and how people can relate to it. And I think that that's where the legs are going to start moving to with film festivals. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to like, I've been hurt like this. I've been ghosted before.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I'm going to be doing with the situation that I'm in. I'm pissed off right now because I thought it was going to lead somewhere. And here I am being pissed off when I should be talking to the person that matters the most to me, but she doesn't matter from her perspective and everything. She doesn't matter jack crap to me.
Yeah.
Or anything. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned the relatable because like I actually said that in the bonus features that is actually going to be posted soon, but like I mentioned how like relatable, I just care means to a lot of people, and it was just something that I had to put out there because just hearing it from Josh's perspective, he's not the only one that goes through that, and being able to like share that with everybody, just because I'm pretty sure like a lot of people like to watch a lot of relatable things. I feel like it's entertaining, and I don't know, like putting that out there in the bonus features was something I was really looking forward to do because I knew how much this affected Josh, and I know like people watching it, like it would give some sort of message, to somebody out there, and
most definitely.
I don't know. It was just something that I most definitely liked to put out there for sure.
Definitely. And I want to piggyback off of what you just said though, Nathaniel, who is this, okay? It's stuff that other people's been through, and the relatability aspect of it with the dialogue alone is going to make people be drawn to it.
Yes,
as well. Yeah. Because I've been through that situation too, especially with before I met my wife and everything. I was ghosted. I was thinking that this conversation is going somewhere. There's a connection there, and all of a sudden, poof, she just disappears. I'm like, okay. And then there was also one horrible date that I went on. But the connection was there. And after we talked for a good month, and then all of a sudden she's gone. I'm like, okay, well, And out of courtesy, that's also too I knew that it was been a while, but then I met my wife, and I just out of courtesy, just because she goes to me doesn't mean that I need to go on ahead, because I believe two wrongs don't make it right. So I went on ahead and just, hey, look, I met someone, I wish you the best and everything, and that was it. So
Yeah, that's
but
powerful.
I like the fact that you have a character that's relatable, that people can follow on this journey and say, hey, I've been there, I've been hurt.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And and you know what though, this could also go with a father figure too. Like all of a sudden you're thinking that this guy came back into your life, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and you're pissed off at that situation.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
like I said, there's so many open doors to
He's
this
cooking. You're cooking,
that
John.
that you can go on another thing too is I definitely and I'm not going to spoil this. Well, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but I read the script where basically where the character goes into a coffee shop and he has that conversation
Oh yeah.
too. That right there was the key for me to say you got something, because I've seen films where it's like forced dialogue and it doesn't feel like it's it feels fake. It feels like a Lifetime movie
Yeah.
Mhm.
or something. This actually feels more natural, and I haven't even seen the movie yet. But just seeing the dialogue alone, I'm like, yeah, this feels more natural. This is actually how you and I would talk to each other, or the three of us would talk to each other. It's not like,
Yeah.
hey, guess what? I met my wife, my blonde hair wife, on Christmas Day, and she broke up with me. It's not like that
Damn.
happy. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, what's wrong, Jim? Well, she's gonna live in. No, 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 no. This is more heartfelt. I
Yeah.
definitely love it.
Yeah, and the point of it too, I wanted to because I already had like it's not like heavy, but it has some weight to it.
Mm.
It's emotional. So I wanted to add some lightheartedness in there as well. And I felt like that scene in particular was the perfect point where that could come in.
Mhm.
And when we watched it, you know, um, just to see what other change, like small changes needed to be made. And we all just, we kind of sat there, we looked at it, and it's the way it just flows really surprised me because it's like, yo, it really just paced very, very well.
Right, because you're worried if it's going to slow the film down even more
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
how heavy-handed it already is, and you're
Hmm.
wondering if you're just dragging it along, and the wondering too if the people who's watching it is like, okay, I get the point. You
Yeah.
know,
And and the thing is too, the other part that I really like, and this is why it was so key that we got um Dirtwater to do, the song, and Oak Studios to do the score, like the music, is because I wanted the music to also play a role in telling the story. And
Hmm.
and overall throughout the film, the way we placed the music, it all and Nate could tell you straight up. Like
Yeah.
I would just find random. I would go right on Oak Studios and I would go look through their entire library, and because they gave us permission to they said
right?
use whatever. I said cool, perfect, and I would just go through. I'd find things like, oh, now I think this fits here, and then this fits here, and then like the scene when I'm like, okay, so it's a scene when I'm driving off before I get to the cafe, and that funky guitar. Oh my goodness,
Oh
no! When
yeah,
I found
yeah,
that, I said, no,
Yeah.
that works.
yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
smooth.
I think I think the amazing thing about creating film like this is being able to match the sound with,
Yes.
like, it's just something about it, because it's like you want to make sure that, like, you're setting the tone right, and
Right.
when I don't want to say too much, but it's just I don't want to I want to say something about the,
No, I feel you, bro.
but but it's just something about it, because of course you're gonna have moments where Leah's sad, so we have some slow instrumentals, and then
Mhm.
Right.
when he's driving off, you have that nice little melody, to it, and
Kind
it's
of like a
just,
bop. Yeah.
yeah, so it just matches perfectly, and that's just so, like, unique in my opinion, because it's just like you see that a lot, but being able to create that and making what you did happen
Mhm.
from just what you did, like your work, it was so amazing. It was so, and Oak Studios, shout out to Oak Studios, by the way. They have some amazing music,
Seriously.
and
Yes. Oak Studios
they were
and Dirtwater.
they
Yeah.
were
Okay.
really, yeah.
Because like when we
My
did
thing
our
was
when we
that.
did our watch along, like I just gotta say this real quick, John. It's like when we did our
Yeah,
watch
yeah. Go
along,
ahead.
hey, Caleb said something that it dawned on me as soon as he said it. Like in there's the last scene, the way Dirtwater's music plays, it just turned. And because you're a Sons of Anarchy fan, John, I think you'll be able to see the beats through it too.
Okay.
It's almost like it turns into a Western at the end. Like, very slow. Like, it's because you're such a film fan and you understand, like, once it kicks in and you see how everything ties together, it's like, yo, nah, this is cool. And Caleb brought it up. And I said, that's crazy. Didn't even think about it. And then once I really started, like, locking this, like, oh, no, this really
I can't wait to hear it. Seriously.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah,
but,
it's dope, bro.
But no, to piggyback off of Nathaniel, though, music can either take you out of the movie or it can actually place you in that movie to where you actually understand it fully.
Mm-hmm.
And music placement is the key thing here. If you, let's say, for instance, you have a movie that's based in 1960s, right? And all of a sudden you have like 90s music playing. What the hell is that? Like, that would take me out of the movie totally altogether. But when you pitched me the idea that you had, I actually pictured a little bit of that kind of music that you mentioned, Josh, where it was actually a Sons of Anarchy kind of vibe, kind of music, kind of tone for the music placement, and of course having the placement for the character. Because if anybody doesn't know, I'm a huge music nerd too. Like I ended up matter of fact, I ended up doing the new Dexter series at the time, Dexter New Blood, and they were placing Soundgarden on one of the songs, and I'm over there analyzing the lyrics and matching it with Dexter. So if you can get me to do something like that, you got something gold.
Then I think you'll love the last sequence. Yeah.
Because I'm serious. I'm a huge music nerd. I'll go on ahead and I'll go through the lyrics and I'll be like, yeah, this is the analyzation of the character and characterization of the character to the point where I feel like you're playing at the Apes background.
No, truly. No, seriously. No, for real. Because it's funny. Because we were shooting, like, when we were first shooting some of the walking scenes, and so at first the song was going to be, we were actually going to use a song from the White Buffalo, an artist that you and I are both fans of,
right?
You know, and we're going to use the song "I Am the Moon" at first, but then I stumbled. I was just browsing through Apple Music, and I just happened to stumble on Dirtwater's song "Mountain Man," and I said, "Yeah, Nate, you got to listen to this, bro." And I sent it off to him, and I sent it to Reek, and they were, no, that's the song. Go ahead.
And I think that if you would have went with White Buffalo, I think it would have been a little forced.
Too on the nose.
Yeah, it's too much on the nose because number one, you have followers on your YouTube channel. They'll be like, okay, of course he would choose that because it sounds like Anarchy and stuff like that. And also too, it actually makes the character look like it was just you playing you versus it being the character. So I think the placement of that music is actually perfect. Nate, my question for you though too is like the editing process. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, the process has been, you know, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. I will say, but you know, I think, you know, having this group made it easier for me because the biggest thing about editing is having creative consulting right next to you, you know. Shout out to Dan, by the way. He's one of our guys in the, you know, in our group. He helped me a lot with some of the stuff I didn't know, and I've been editing for a long time, you know. So he's been giving me some tips on like how to do different transitions into this or where I should put this and that. So the editing process was a lot easier because of him. But throughout everything else, I mean, of course, you know, time was something that, you know, was put into a lot. Making sure everything was good. You know, I'm when it comes to editing, I don't like to rush. I like to make sure that everything is really good and just unique in its own way. And I try to make sure that everything is perfect to perfect to everything, you know? So yeah, I mean, editing process, honestly, it's been good. It's been good. You know, the progress has been good as well. Just looking at the film, when I was editing this, me and Josh kept telling us, like, are we going to hit that, what was it? It was like
under 40.
I think it was like under 40 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, we were gonna hit it under 40 minutes. Yeah, we got just under 40,
Yes.
like 30. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, that's perfect, but yeah, it was a process, but we did it, and I'm glad that we have done it, because it was a long time of just thinking and just making sure everything was good. So yeah,
Good.
yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
That's
I
something that I think that's really impressive, though, too, if you think about it, is the fact that, um, with the fact that with the editing process and stuff, that you actually do have those creative people in charge. You know what I mean? To where you can actually rely on, and then it doesn't feel like all the weight is on you. You can actually shift to somebody else
Mhm.
as well, because
Yeah.
sometimes it can actually feel like that. Okay, well, I'm just me. I'm just one person, and all this is all on me now
Mhm.
Yeah.
to try and do. But the fact that you have somebody else that you can actually go to, hey, look, does this look good or does this look off or anything like that? And also, too, I bet, how was the sound design going for you though? Too, that's another thing.
Sound design.
Yeah.
So when it came to the sound design, excuse me. All right. So when it came to the sound design, it was, um,
Birds chirping.
let me think. So like the sound design, honestly, it was different, because in certain scenes, we had to make sure that the audio was right on this or that, and making sure the volume levels are good.
Right.
Um, and what I did was, because I personally feel like I shouldn't have like a personal opinion on like how I edit things, because like I feel like obviously like different minds, when they come together, it's perfect. So that's why I'd be calling like our guy Dan or our group to come over and watch it and see how it is.
Mhm.
Tell us how it is. Like I would have Josh, like, because we lived in the same apartment. I was like, yo, Josh, come check this out real quick, and
Right.
it would be like he would give me like some pointers on sound levels, and or just how this is and how that
Mhm.
is, because sometimes we might have scenes where the mic doesn't catch all of it, but
Yeah.
but we would try to like do it in a way where it would catch it. um so that was interesting too, because that taught me a lot more about editing, on how to fix certain situations like that. um but yeah, I mean, of course, I stumbled a lot on certain situations, but I feel like I was able to kind of pick up off it, and do my research and make sure the film was good to the point where we're like, okay, we can dig with that. That's good.
Right. Because here's the thing, I actually reviewed one film where the director was like, "Hey, you need to check out my film. It's fantastic. I have this artist in there and stuff like that, right?"
Mhm.
And yeah, he has that artist in there, all right, but it's blasting through the fucking dialogue.
Christopher Nolan.
But you have Cypress Hill. You don't have. You got Cypress Hill in there in a gangster scene that's supposed to be set in New York, but he's a West Coast rapper. So that's what another thing I was telling you about, that music placement is key.
It's very key. It's
And if you
so
don't
key.
here's the thing, if you don't have the rights for it, get some royalty free music to where it actually feels like a New York setting. Don't make it a West Coast type of thing, because it's two different things. But that's what I'm trying to say though. With your film though, I can tell the way that you guys are talking about it, that you actually do have those elements of where you're making sure the mixing is right. You're making sure that your sound design is right. You're making sure that it's as perfect as you can, because this is not about you anymore. Because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
final product is gone. It's about
Yeah.
the audience. And if
Hmm.
the audience is not feeling it, you're going to lose them, which
Yeah.
means
Yeah.
that your run over at the film festivals is also gone. We have to make sure everything is precise and
Yeah.
on key.
I tell Josh all the time, I like to take my time on everything,
And I'm not mad at it because
and
yeah.
I get it, because obviously, like, we're so eager to see the film, but I rather, like, of course, make sure the film is okay, like, at its best before
Mhm.
just throwing it out there. And that's not a good first impression, especially for us, especially
Right.
since we're recording and stuff. Like, I love to take my time and make sure that what we do is authentic, greatest quality, and I say this all the time, but me and Josh, like, we were in school making this, So
Yes.
we needed all the time we had. I was getting hours, he was getting hours. Like we were just doing so much at school to the point we had to like limit our time with the when it comes like when like we were always on a tight crunch with everything. And
Right.
so we had to make sure like we had to schedule a day to do this and that certain and even editing too. The editing is not quick. Like obviously it takes
No, it's not. Take it from someone that does audio editing.
Yeah.
And I'm also directing and editing another podcast for my co-host.
Yeah.
And it's an hour and 30-minute episode that I'm doing right now, but it's taking me at least a couple of days because of my work schedule.
Mhm.
So I totally understand it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot that goes into it, but you know that's the biggest thing that I'm proud of because throughout the circumstances that we face, we still able to be love, you know. So yeah.
No, seriously, because like there was a point because we were actually aiming last semester.
Yeah,
we were thinking like, man, do you think we can finish by the end of the semester? And then, you know, we did some shots and all, we did some concepts. And it's like, yeah, we're not going to do this by the end of the semester. So, but the good thing is, I needed more time to finish the script anyway. I had to figure out who else I had to cast because then it's that point Greek graduated. So now I had to figure out who am I going to get to play King, who am I going to get to play the barista, and who am I going to get to play Sam. And I had to coordinate with my dad's schedule just to see like how we're going to get this phone call done just right. Same thing with my sister because she's away at school. So I had to figure out how to get, coordinate with her and then figure out who's going to play the therapist, who's going to play her, who's going to play another. Like it was just a whole bunch of things that we had to figure out. And I was glad that we had more time. And I appreciate the fact that, because the thing is that me and Nate, we're going to hold each other accountable. And that was one of the best parts about it is because, if I knew I was kind of maybe going a little far, they would kind of bring the reins like, hey, just come back in just a bit. And it'd be vice versa. It's like, oh, hold on. Let's just kind of bring it back just a little bit, Nate. Like,
That's a good thing. That's a good thing to have that on
exactly.
the set.
And it's the best part because you need to have that team atmosphere where if somebody might be just kind of going off, you just kind of redirect them just a bit, not to be you're not being a jerk about it. Obviously.
No. It's like, hey, look, you need to pull back the reins a little bit to where it's not too forced, or you're going a little bit too far on the deep end.
Yeah,
but I totally get it.
And it was interesting just balancing all the hats too, because it's like, darn, it's like when we did the cafe scene, that was probably the biggest day. That was not even probably, that was the biggest day. Because we had the whole cast in there. We had to coordinate with the cafe owner. Because I had been there a few times.
That's always the hard thing to do is coordinate with business owners and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Because I'm just using this as an example with Crichton, whenever he had his horror movie that I was actually part of, whenever I wrote that, I helped him write that. He was having a hard time with the diner scene. And they wouldn't, and basically they had to use a different diner, but use I think they actually had to use a different corner of the cafe to make it look like it's the same cafe or something. But either way it goes, they had to switch out the cafes, I think.
Interesting.
It's just my brain's a little foggy from that experience, but I think that's what happened. But I do remember there was like that one thing with the owner where basically it's like, hey, look, we're having lunch over here at this hour. Well, you said you were going to accommodate us for this time, and now you're making us have to wait longer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally feel you on that.
No, it was dope too, man, because like I said, I had been there a few times, and then I was thinking, because at first we were going to use a different restaurant on Main Street called Princess.
Yeah.
And I was thinking at first, like, maybe we could use that spot. But then I also know that they get a decent amount of traffic, so it would have been a little difficult to kind of manage through that. And I wasn't as close with the owners as I was at Oasis Cafe. So as I said, when I go in there and I sit at the bar and I'd order a sandwich or I'd order like a boba tea or something, and I would just sit and I was thinking like, yo, this kind of looks like it will work for the movie. So I asked Sarah, and she said, sure, let's do it. And, we coordinated on the day, said March 3rd. And that's when we did it. We said March 3rd, we'll be here at 8 a.m.
So you didn't even have to worry about no permits or nothing like that. It was just the word of the owner. That's dope. Because normally it's like, well, you need permits. You need this. You need licensing.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Because I actually, even before that, I went to the police department too. And I asked them, I said, do we need permits to film? And they said, Nah, you're good. He was like, oh, seriously? Okay.
Sounds like my
Problem.
town.
Yeah.
Sounds like my little small town. It's like, hey, can we
Yeah.
film? Yeah, absolutely. Do whatever the hell you want. Just don't break the rules. I'm like, okay, fine.
One,
I can see me just randomly showing up at a coffee shop. What the hell are you doing? The cop said it was okay. I could film. So
No, screw it. Oh man.
yeah, point I do want to make was, throughout this whole film, it was like puzzles being put into place at
mhm.
the right moments. And Josh knows exactly what I mean by when I say that, because it's like I've always wanted to be a filmer. Like I wanted to film something. I've always wanted to do that,
Mhm.
and I never knew Josh was an actor. But it made sense when he said that, because all the jokes he would crack in the apartment, all the theatrical, noises he would make. I was like, this makes sense. He is that guy. Okay, well, I want to film. You want to be an actor, and then randomly that situation happened, and then boom,
Mhm.
My
and then
thing was this though, for you
Mhm.
though, Nathaniel. Did you always, when you had to play King, was that something that I know that you had another actor in place, but did you have that in mind as like I want to play King, or did you know the character well enough to where you felt comfortable with that?
I all I knew at the moment, I believe, was like King played a pretty funny role, and I feel like I possibly could have, but I don't know, because now that I'm looking at it, Mike killed that.
Mike did. He
Mike
he he
killed that.
bodied that.
Honestly, I don't. I love the way it is right now, perfectly.
Yeah.
Like Mike killed it. So I mean, but um, I
Because
was
Nate, you were supposed to play Sam at first.
yeah,
I had
yeah,
Nate playing Sam. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I was still happy with it, because I feel like we found people that fit it a lot better, because I
Mhm.
feel like they had more experience. Because I mean, I'm not really much of an actor myself. I like to be behind the camera. I like to. I'm like more of the editor, camera geek guy.
Right.
That's more of my touch. But most definitely, like I said, it was just like finding these people, and obviously, like all of them being at Frostburg State was just amazing, because we're all in one spot. So we did
Mm-hmm.
used our time usefully, and it's just did it, and it was just perfect timing.
Right. Because here's the thing, I was in a high school play. I told Josh this story before, but I was in a high school play, and I remember I was playing two parts. I was playing a part of a 10-year-old, like the shortest person my senior year of high school.
Mhm.
Um, and then I was playing another part where basically I was playing this guy who had prejudice against someone that was, you know, that was different than me. And so then they're like, well, this person can't make it. Can you step in to fill that role? Well, of course, I'm like, yeah, I can. And I could tell that I was forced. I could tell that I was missing the beats with it. And then all of a sudden he comes in. I'm like, thank you, God. Get me out of this. Because I did not fit that part at all,
Yeah,
you know? Because I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Thinking enough to that, I'm like, no, this is the outside looking in. I'm like, no, I cannot do this. So yeah, I totally understand.
yeah.
Um, because I was just curious about that because I know that when Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Cameron sat down and stuff like that, James sat down with Arnold. He's like, look, you already know the character, you already know the way he moves
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So you should go on ahead and play him. He goes, no, I want to be a leading man. That's who I want to be. I want to be a leading man. I can't be a leading man if I'm a villain. Because no one's going to remember you as the hero. They're going to remember you as that villain.
Yeah.
And so once he pitched it like that, Arnold was in. So I was thinking in my head that maybe Nathaniel knew the role just as Arnold knew the role. I was like, you know what? I know this dude. I know how he walks. I know how he talks and
Mm-hmm.
everything. I'm comfortable with it. So it was kind of like that kind of sense of why I asked that was because I was like, okay, I was wondering if that was the talk that you guys
Mm-hmm.
had to have, So that was something I was curious about.
No, so because at first I wanted Nate to play Sam at first,
Mm-hmm.
but then I thought about it and it's like, well, I'm juggling a lot of hats and Nate's juggling a lot of hats. Let me kind of just take a little off his plate here. Um, and so I was, at the calf, so I actually, Dan and Caleb are two of my coworkers. hilarious. Okay. And so we were just talking one day, and I looked at Dan, and I asked him to say something from the script. Like I just told him something. I just said, I need you to say this real quick. And he said it, and I was like, yeah, no, you're the barista. And Caleb, I'm gonna have you play Sam. But also on top of that, what was funny is because before that, I approached Caleb about being the barista. And Caleb was gonna play the barista at first, but then I said, I was talking, then I saw, Dan, and then we started talking. I'm like, nah, Dan, you play the barista, Caleb, you play Sam. And it worked out. So we had some table reads, before then, just so we could build the chemistry. Because we're all friends, so we already had the chemistry there, but I just wanted to see how they could
put that it's not so much about the chemistry of the actors. It was the chemistry of the characters you were trying to see if they were going to be able to bounce off of.
Exactly. Right. And it worked out perfectly. That cafe scene is so funny.
I can't wait to see that, to be honest.
Oh, man. It's so good.
I like it that way because throughout the whole film is just
a lot.
It's just sadness, But when you go to the calf scene, you actually laugh a little bit. There's some humor in that,
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how Josh added that to the whole thing because it gives some sort of different mood that he's not used to at that time because he was going through
it's like
stuff.
that light into that darkness.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was exactly what it was. And it was funny because Dan had mentioned it to Josh saying I was the only person in the film to make you laugh, and then I was laughing. I was just like, oh wow, that's very true. Wow.
Yeah, he's the only character that actually got me too. And then there's a scene when I go with the therapist where I'm being sarcastic about what she's talking about twice. And the second time when we went back and watched it, because I didn't write it to be funny. But when we went back and watched it, and she says what she says, then I respond like, "Man, that sucks, Doc." It's so funny because I wasn't anticipating it to be that funny. But as we were watching it privately, they started cracking up, laughing. I was like, "Yo, that actually is low key funny." I just didn't expect it to be that way. So it's funny how you make this product, and then you go back and you look at all these things. It's like, yo, I didn't expect that, or you got something out of it that you didn't get out of it at first. But I also wanted it to be something where, because I was telling Nate throughout the entire process, I'm like, the audience is smart. We don't treat them like they're dumb. We do
exactly.
show, not tell. We can have our dialogue, but we can also show some of these other things too. And it worked out really, really well. And I just love the fact that, part of it is just being a storyteller. You just know your audience, know that they're smart. Don't baby them. Give them the story.
And, right, exactly. And that's the thing that I told the two with the actress and the director for 3 Easy Steps, which was a short film about a girl who has ADHD. I said, I appreciate the fact that you didn't treat the audience like they were stupid. I also told another actor recently that I interviewed for his film too, that I felt like both that director of the short film and the one that I reviewed, and everything too. I was like, I'm glad that they don't treat me like I'm an idiot. It's like, well, we got to show you this, and then we got to show you that. And no, I'm rather you just give me a little bit of meat and then show me the rest.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Don't tell me, don't show me. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Now go ahead, Nate.
I think the whole purpose of that too is it's leaving the audience as a moment, instead of just kind of giving it away at first, because and that's it was so cool to have Josh in this as well, because Josh watches a lot of movies, and he knows I feel like most of his stuff is from what he watches, so it's it sticks with you, when you watch all that stuff, you kind of pinpoint and you kind of understand what they're doing. Okay, let me grab that and add it to what I do, so it was just those moments. It was just one of those moments, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from just hearing how Josh, kind of learned me through everything, and just, because I was that type of person where I would like to give a lot of hints throughout the film, but I didn't want to give too much hints. I'll kind of keep the audience for sure at a, they're able to think about this. They'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And
go ahead, John.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask with this other two other questions in a minute, and then we'll wrap up. But the other thing was this: I said I know that it's shot in black and white at first for like a flashback scene to create something dramatic and stuff like that. Too, the opening scene feels like Goodfellas to me, and it has that Goodfellas flavor to it, but with a modern day feel to it. But it also has like a Clerks kind of vibe too, because that film was also shot in black and white. Because it was
Mm.
like because at that time it was more expensive to shoot something in color versus it being black and white. So therefore, they decided to save some money off of black and white. So my thing is this: so is the film in color or is it in black and white? Also, too, I think that you should do both because I think that you can actually go ahead and if it's not shot in black and white or whatever, I think it should be black and white too, so that way it can give you more of a dramatic feel to it as well.
It's so funny you say that. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
This is only you seeing the script, right?
Yeah, I didn't show it to anybody else.
He's only seen the script. He's only seen the script.
Hold on, that's actually insane. How you? That's actually crazy. Like, I don't think you understand what you just said, John, because you said something really unique here. You said it would make sense if the film is black and white and in color, because it is.
It is. It is. It legitimately is. Yeah.
It is. And that's
yeah. It's like as soon as you said it, I said I ain't got.
I saw Josh smile. I was like, hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I swear. I had never seen the movie or anything. I'm just going based off a script.
But
I'm imagining in my head on what it looks like.
Yeah.
When you watch it, oh my god, because
it makes so much sense.
Oh my gosh, because the last scene, because at first, you know, Nate was on the side of let's do it in color, because like I said, you know, early on it was still like late fall going into winter.
Yeah.
It's like, we could take advantage of, but I said no, I want to show the conflict. So with that black and white contrast, essentially, but then the things that you know Lee's kind of thinking back on or remembering fondly is in color.
Yes.
And then I'm not even going to say how the last scene turns out.
Yeah.
It's because I ain't even going to say it. It's so subtle, but once you see it, you'll get it. And it's things like that. As I was like telling Nate throughout the whole thing, I was saying, show, don't tell. We show, don't tell. The audience is smart. So there's so many like key things. Like even so when I was telling okay. So there's an element of the headphones. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. And when I explained it to Nate how we could still wrap that all up in the story and it made sense, like I was just thinking, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And I thought about it one day and I just wrote it down and then I said, nah, this is it. And I explained it to Nick and he said, all right, that's it right there. That's it right there. I said, yeah, nah, that's how we're gonna do it. So I think you know, once Nate, is it uploading right now?
Huh?
Is the film uploading to the channel right now?
It's uploading.
It's uploading right now as we speak.
Awesome. I am definitely going to be watching it. I will go on ahead and I'll review it and stuff like that probably tomorrow or this weekend, I promise.
Dude.
Because this is something that I fully support with you guys. I love how open you guys are, how serious you guys are about this, and how passionate you are. Yeah. This is no joke. I think that you guys are going to win some of the film festivals.
I hope so, dude.
I hope so.
Like,
God, I hope so, man.
I don't want you guys to get like the big hit or nothing like that, but just from the little details of what you're telling me, me not even seeing the film, stuff like that, it deserves to win something.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, and I think for us, like, it's not even like awards are nice. You know, it's great. But the whole point of Top Hat Films is we want to tell great stories, and it's our art. We really want to just tell really good stories that everybody can enjoy. Like, yeah, sure, we love to win some awards, absolutely. You know, but like the primary thing is that we are young, we're hungry, we're triumphant, and this is what we want to do. And I didn't know that Nate wanted to be a filmmaker until we sat down and we had that conversation, and it was like click, boom. So it's like, oh, Well, it sounds like we found the team, and this is how it all started. You know,
And you know what? You ended up saying something to me. This is like a couple months back, Josh, when we were talking.
mhm,
Where I'm writing my monologue, and you're like, well, you understand film, you analyze film, so you
mhm,
know how to do something, know how to
mhm,
write something,
mhm.
because you know the mistakes that other directors do, so that way you don't try and repeat those things. And that just
Exactly.
stuck with me. I just want to let you know that just stuck with me to really concentrate on what I want to do
Yeah.
and everything too. And you know, I think that you're going to end up opening new doors for people that are movie reviewers to want to do at least a short film. As a matter of fact, I was actually thinking about this at work today. I'm like, I think at least someone that reviews movies should do at least one short film just to get an idea
Of what
of what
it's
it's like.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, for sure. Because like, just reviewing movies wasn't like the ultimate. Like I wanted to, just be in them and make them and write them and direct them. Like it just became this whole big thing after just going through this whole process. It's like, yo, no, we can do this. Like we can be an A24 type of studio. We really can.
Yeah.
And the thing is because I believe in all the talents that we have. And when we would be in the room, just kind of going through editing and just talking about things
Yeah.
and just like all the ideas that we're spurning about. And now everybody kind of has an idea of something that they want to write and that they want to do. And like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to do. Like Nate has a story. You want to talk about that one, Finding Horace, that we were discussing?
Yeah. So it was a little story that relates to my life, kind of like how like I just care, but like only the on a true on a like based
More
on a
on a basis.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just basically like I don't want to say too much right now, but it was it's a good film that I think a lot of people will understand a lot. Like and that's one thing too. Like this will be another relatable film that
Mm-hmm.
when people watch this, they're like, wow, like Finding Horace. I see now. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
and I don't want to say too much, but it's just an amazing story that I brought up to Josh's. I came up to him and I was like, yeah, we should do something like this because I feel like this is an amazing story. Like we're gonna have to like really, go deep into our toolbox and try and get the tools for this to make it work. And I feel like we can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
And the thing is, I didn't know. I also, I was telling my dad about this too when we were talking on the phone the other day. I said, the whole thing with the Top Hat, I didn't want it to just be because I showed Nate. I have a list of at least like 20 different film ideas that I want to do. Like it's a whole list written out,
yeah,
clear
yeah,
as day. And I was telling my dad, I said, as much as I love that and I want to make all of these, and we're going to make all of these, I want my guys to also have things that they want to make too,
yes,
because it's supposed to be
yeah.
like this
It's
this collaboration of
His
creators.
family.
Exactly, it's a family.
yeah,
Exactly, so we can
Not to
all
quote
have
Vin
our
Diesel, but yeah.
yes, exactly. And I just want us to be something where everybody can, and just through our different minds and our perspectives and how we think that no matter what, no matter how different our minds might work, no matter how quirky it might be, no matter how dark or serious, no matter how brooding, no matter how hilarious, like people all walk away with something from each of us. And that's what I want Top Hat to be like, to really
Yes.
you gain something from every single film, every skit, every movie, like everything we do, I want you to gain something from it. And
yeah,
that's the whole point. Like, I think I'm really of the camp that the world does need movies
yeah,
because it's another form of storytelling that everybody can sit and enjoy as a group. Like, people go to concerts together, people go to football games together, people go to art museums together. They go look at all these things. They do the same thing when they go to the movie theater. They're sitting there together for one
Yep.
reason, and they all walk out maybe with different perspectives. They might all say, no, this was awesome. Oh, this movie sucked. Oh, this movie was great. It made me cry. Like all these things, like that character pissed me off, that one pissed me off too. Like it's so many things, but it brings community together. And that's
Definitely.
what I love. Yeah,
That's what I love about it too. Like for instance, I went and seen the Transformers 2 one time in theaters. Right? And me and this other dude was over there laughing our asses off at this a couple of scenes for like and I didn't know him from Adam or anything. He was just a total stranger, and him and I are both geeking out, laughing at the same parts, high fiving each other. And my nephew, I kid you not, my brother-in-law, and my sister goes, "Do you know him?" I said, "No, I don't know him in my whole entire life."
Would it be like that? I feel because that has happened to me when I saw. I think I saw Jurassic World. It was Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and it's so funny because the movie, like as soon as the movie started, the screen went black. There was like something happened to the projector, so we all had to leave out the theater just to come back in. They started it back over, and you just kind of had a couple people, like, I was sitting next to a few people. We were just kind of joking about it as the movie went over. Like, yo, no, this is. It's. I wasn't really a fan of Fallen Kingdom at the end of the day, but
Me either.
Exactly. But it had its moments. It did have its moments. We were like, okay,
It happened to me at Rogue One though, too, because some people were actually making finger puppets because the projector broke down, and they were actually basically doing Star Wars dialogue.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The sound. Yum.
But guys, look, man, I'm not lying to you. You guys got something. I think this is going to open up doorways for other people to actually see. It's going to get the relatability going for you guys. It's going to have, this film has legs. It has layers. It has comedy. It has darkness within lightness. It has everything that you want in a great popcorn movie. And I don't mean popcorn movie like it's stuffing your face with popcorn and just turning your brain off for 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about a 38 to 40-minute movie where you can be engaged with the characters, have the relatability of the characters, and say, hey, look, I was like this at one time.
Yeah.
Somebody was there for me through that darkness. Yes, I was sarcastic as hell with my psychiatrist and was not giving a shit about my psychiatrist and the way she felt or anything like that. And she was over there busting my balls because of the fact that I was being an arrogant asshole. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I haven't seen that part of the script. I only seen the coffee shop scene. So I'm just going off the narrative of what I'm picturing. And I know how Josh is.
Yeah.
And I know, but I'm just saying, dude, you have so much stuff wrapped up in this film, the both of you guys do.
Yeah.
And I believe in Top Hat Films. I believe in you guys. So my thing is for you guys need to go on ahead and believe in them too. You need to follow them. Mm-hmm. You guys need to listen to this podcast and this interview. Mm-hmm. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, follow them on their journey to where they want to go. Because I'm serious, the journey is believing in them. And showing their progression and having that great Planet of the Apes poster in the background. That's the expression on people's faces that they want to
have. Be like bonobos.
Yes, that should be a hashtag. Be like
bonobo.
But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the show. Go on ahead, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. Also, tomorrow, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, I will have Jason back again. He was actually part of my True Lies review last week.
Jason.
And we're going to end up talking about separating the artist from the artist, art from the artist. And also, I also have my other good friend, Kevin, from the Reels for Real podcast. That's REELS for Real podcast. And we're going to be talking about that subject. And it's going to be a great conversation with the three of us doing that. So join us at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Rossie will probably be back at Rossie's Clubhouse doing her thing over there, interviewing independent Sacramento hip-hop artists over there. And that's everything that we have going on over here at Movie Lovers Night. I hope everyone has a great and safe night. And always until next time, guys, bye-bye.
That's how you cut a fucking pro.